Hello guys, and welcome to the second episode of this playthrough challenge, in which I'm attempting to complete Pokémon Fire Red version without catching any Pokémon. So, last episode, we completed the opening phase of the game. We got our starter Pokémon, then made our way over to Viridian City and defeated our technically our second rival battle. And now we will continue. And pretty much the first dungeon of the game is right after Viridian City. It's called Viridian Forest, which really isn't that difficult or annoying compared to some other later locations in the game. But before that, I'll just stock up on a few items. I think I only have one potion, so I might want a couple. And I'm going to get some antidotes and paralyze heals, because there are some poison bug types in the forest. The trainers overall are quite easy, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And let's pick up one paralyze heal. Most of them are going to be from the Caterpie and Weedle lines. And by the way, Bulb, our Venusaur, who we got last episode, he has a calm nature, which I checked. My first guess was correct. It lowers a physical attack and raises special defense, which is actually pretty useful for us. This guy is going to give us a tutorial on how to catch Pokemon, which not only do I not need, because I already know how to do it, but I will also not need in this playthrough, because I will, as the title suggests, I won't be catching any Pokemon. So this happens automatically, and it's just basically essentially a video of how to catch it. And I get a kiwi. I think this is a potion, but I can't be bothered to go all the way around. So I have two anyways. So we're in Viridian Forest. I don't think this guy is a trainer. I think there might be an item over here. This is a fairly sort of uneventful corner. We've got our first encounter, which is a Metapod. The Kakuna and Metapod, which are the middle stages of their line, I don't think they have any attacking moves. Pretty sure they don't. So they only basically know Harden. There was an item, but it was might not have been worth the long journey, to be honest. It was Pokeball. Which is definitely not worth the wait, because I'm not even allowed to use them in this playthrough. Most gens have a forest area. Well, I think the ones that I've played. So Gen 1 has Viridian Forest, which is the one we're in now. Gen 2 has Ilex Forest, which is a bit different. And I'm pretty sure Gen 3 has Petalburg Woods as an item. It'll be nice to get the potion when we get the running shoes, because it makes life so much easier. Oh, this guy's not a trainer. That's why you can never have too many Pokeballs. Again, some of this is just a bit ironic. It's always weird, like, people say that these trees look like buff men, sort of like holding their hands in a particular angle, which I could agree with. It's an interesting design choice. So this guy's just a bug catcher. It should be fairly easy to deal with. We don't have any super effective moves. We don't have any poison moves yet, so... And our grass moves will be ineffective. Ah. That's the first Pokemon down. And he's probably going to have a Caterpie, yeah. Caterpie and Weedle sort of act as, like, almost alternatives to each other. I'm pretty sure, definitely in the Gen 1 games, you can catch only Caterpies in blue, and only Weedles in red. But I mean, if I was to choose, I'd say I like the Caterpie line more. It's just sort of more of a classic, and also well, Beedrill's also quite cool as the final stage. Neither of them are particularly fascinating, but I'd still say I Caterpie. Here's another one. Yeah, this guy has loads of, well, not loads, but he has 3 Pokemon, which isn't really convenient. Considering they're just gonna have to be hammering away with Tackle. And again, we have a pretty bad physical attack because of our nature, which is going to be a hindrance early game, but late game it's late to middle game, or like in a few episodes, maybe even this episode, it's going to start getting a lot less of a hindrance. Another Weedle. It's actually a waste using String Shot for the Weedle because he already outspeeds me, so there's really no reason for him to decrease it any lower. Alright, what if we use Vine Whip? Because that's going to get Stab because of the grass typing, and then also good special attack. Yeah, it wasn't great. But that's because it's not very effective. Weedle's a bug poison type, so both of them are effective against grass. So I'm not surprised that it wasn't very powerful. Kakuna. Okay, Kakuna will be a double. Because, well, it would just take a while, which I guess is even more infuriating, but he can't actually harm us, from what I can tell, from what I know. Yeah, I should actually probably switch to a different move and not Tackle, because the Harden will increase his physical defense, but if we use Grass-type moves, then that won't do anything. And Leech Seed will harm him every time, which is nice. And also actually gets us a bit of free healing, which we wouldn't particularly harm us at all. I think this absorb finishes it though, so it's not a problem. And we've leveled up. Oh, and well, we already have a few though. I think antidotes are one of the cheapest items. They only cost about, I think, 100 polka dollars. So you could buy 3 antidotes for the price of a potion. Which is an interesting choice, I guess. Because paralyzed heals are 200. Most Pokemon players aren't that frustrated by poison just because it's something that's is gonna deal damage to you every turn. But as opposed to something like sleep or when you're frozen, you can't attack during that turn. You can't do anything, but you can't use a move, so you can. They're normally more frustrating to deal with because you then have to actually get rid of that sleep, or if you don't have any items to wake your Pokemon up or defrost them, then you're just gonna have to wait for it to go away before you can actually attack the opposing Pokemon. Whereas stuff like poison and burn just harm you every turn. Paralyze is like well, I would say it's a worse version of sleep and frozen because it's like there's a chance that you will not attack and you'll be paralyzed, and there's also a chance that the attack will come through. Similarly to confusion, but I don't think confusion is actually a status condition. So there's no real way of dealing with it. But also confusion, if you don't, so there's a chance that the attack will just go through and you'll hit the opposition Pokemon. Or there's a chance that you will hit yourself rather than the attack just failing, which can be annoying as well. There you go. I'm not sure what other moves we learn through level up, but tackle. I don't think we get any good normal type moves for a while. Not that I don't think we'll need them as much as later. Ah, thought we'd made it without any wild encounters, and then I get a Kakuna. Nearly level 13. Again, considering we're soloing with Bulbasaur, we are a bit over-leveled because normally you would. Well, it depends, but you might have caught at least one Pokemon that you might want to use, like potentially a Pidgey, or even a Spearow. In my first Pokemon Red playthrough, I used a Spearow. Which will then evolve into a Fearow rather than someone from rather than the Pidgeotto / Pidgeot eventually from that line. Pidgeot, I don't know, I call it Pidgeot. That's one of the potential pronunciations. You could also probably, at least I remember from the Gen 1 games, you can get a Nidoran female / male in, I think it's Route 22 before that patch of grass before the rival battle, which we saw in the last episode. And obviously Nidoking is the optimal Pokemon for Pokemon Red speedruns. There we go with Wine Whip. Wow. That wasn't even a critical hit. That's good considering it's not very effective. Or at least I'm pretty sure it's not very effective. Yeah, that's correct. Level 13. He has a Caterpie. How much is Wineup gonna do? That's good, considering it's not effective. Again, Viridian Forest is more of an annoyance than an actual challenge, because all the trainers are pretty weak. The thing with choosing Charmander as your starter, even though it's probably the most popular out of the three, it is, again, it's useful, wow, critical hit. It's useful for Viridian Forest, because it's super effective. It's typing against all the bug types, which we're missing currently, but it is then the most difficult starter because of the battle against Brock. Because Brock is, well, rock type, but most of his Pokemon are rock ground, so that's 4 times resistance to fire. And rock also resists normal type moves, so you can't really scratch them to knock them out either. Your only real option is to go with another Pokemon. But as I think you can get, well, you definitely can get Primate in these games, in the remakes, which is fighting types. I think that's going to be super effective. So that's really your only your best option, unless you want to grind for a long time to beat Brock, is catching a Primate. But or potentially, but again, the bugs in this forest aren't going to be that useful against Brock just because they're not particularly strong Pokemon. But in the Gen 1 games, I don't think you could have caught a Primate. So you really had to had to work your way around that. It wouldn't have been an easy battle as long as you chose Charmander. If you chose Squirtle or Venusaur, if you chose Squirtle or Bulbasaur, like I did right now, it would be a doddle. Unless you're underleveled, but even if you're underleveled, you should still be able to beat it. And this is the last battle of the forest. Finally, we have defeated a level 9 Weedle. Just a few experience points away from 14. I think we level up to Ivysaur. Well, no, we evolve into Ivysaur from Bulbasaur at like either 14 or 16. Probably 16, but there's a chance that it's 14. I think that's in the Gen 2 games. The level up is 14 because the level system is just a bit slower than in the other games, basically all of them. So it's probably 16, but potentially we'll be saying goodbye to Bulbasaur soon, and well, at least his incarnation in a Bulbasaur, and then Bulbasaur will evolve into Ivysaur. But at this rate, because we're solo running and we can't actually obtain any Pokemon, so we're not going to be balancing the experience points that we get, it's going to become a Venusaur a lot earlier than you would expect in a normal playthrough. There's nothing really of interest here, and if you try to walk out that way, the guy brings you to Brock's gym. And then there's the Pokemon Museum, which you have to pay to enter, but current priority will be Brock in the gym, which I think we can just jump straight into. There's going to be one gym trainer before Brock. Stop right there, kid. You're 10,000 light years from facing Brock. Oh, that's an iconic quote. Well, at least, as far as I know. And sends out Geodude. We'll send out our trusty Bulbasaur, who will one-shot his Pokemon. And he also has a Sandshrew. That's quite a good amount of experience for a level 10 Pokemon. Light years isn't a time, it measures distance. And here's Brock. So you're here. I'm Brock. I'm Pewter's gym leader. My rock hard willpower is evident even in my Pokemon. My Pokemon are all rock hard and have true grit determination. That's right, my Pokemon are all the rock type. You're going to challenge me, knowing that you'll lose? That's the trainer's honor that compels you to challenge me. Fine then, show me your best. I'm not sure I will lose though, Brock. Sorry to bust your bubble. Yeah, Vine having only 10 PP is going to be a bit annoying for the routes which have loads of trainers on them. Because we're going to be using it quite a lot. Until we learn Razor Leaf, which is, from what I can remember, it's pretty soon. Poison Powder. Yes. So Leech Seed, I'm not sure we need Leech Seed, to be honest. It's a good, well, it's a good early game stalling tactic, but we won't really need it later on. Nor will we use Poison Powder too much, but at least it's also a fairly good stalling alternative. I will not go with Sleep Powder because I'm not. I just don't want. I don't feel like using it. So it's interesting that you get 2 potential level up moves straight away. Bind. Technically, you could get both Poison Powder and Sleep Powder, but I don't think that's a very good choice. Wow, we won one shot even its Onyx, and that's Ivysaur then. Surely, or not? Maybe it's not Ivysaur. So he gives us the Boulder Badge. Wow, I was certain it was at least level 16. Makes your Pokemon more powerful, really? It also enables the use of the move Flash outside of battle, which we won't be using. Technically, it's not a mandatory HM. Yes, it was 16. I'm not a complete fool after all. What bulb is evolving? So our first evolution, straight after our first gym badge. Yeah, so even though it's probably, well, at least for now, maybe after this playthrough, my opinion on the line will change. For now, the grass starter line, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, is probably my least favorite out of the three starting lines of Kanto of these games. With my favorite being the Blastoise line. I still admit that they're very well designed Pokemon. There's definitely a continuity between them. So Bulbasaur just has a bulb and it opens for Ivysaur, then real plant comes out for Venusaur. It just sort of I think it's a very well designed batch of Pokemon. We could visit the museum. It depends how long this episode has been so far. It would be a nice place to finish it on the the gym badge, because there's quite a tedious route right now awaiting us, and then Mount Moon, which is also tedious. And yeah, I remember this guy gives us the helpful running shoes. Yeah, right, here's a pair of running shoes for my beloved challenger. I always cheer for you, don't ever give up. I think in the Hoenn games, you get the running shoes almost straight away. So you have to get a gym badge before you can get them, but it's still... At least it's not as late as the bike. But it is sort of like almost an identity conflict in me, because, the bike, I'm used to using it in the Gen 1 games, but then the running shoes, I don't know, I just prefer them. It's not as quick, but it's more sort of... It's more flexible. It's an interesting topic to be debating myself on. but it's easier to turn, and with a bike you sort of go in one direction mostly. So, we will be using running rather than the bike for most of the game. How long has this been? Yeah, so probably a good place to end the episode on that slightly awkward note about running shoes versus the bike. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Quite a lot that happened there. We went through Viridian Forest. It evolved our Bulbasaur way earlier than you would usually do because we're soloing, as we can't catch any other Pokemon. That's the main aspect of this challenge. And we beat Rock, which, as I said last episode, wasn't going to be very hard. And next episode we'll be completing. I'm not sure. This is not. We'll be completing this route, so Route 3, before, and then moving on hopefully to Mount Moon. I want to do both of them in one episode, and after that, Cerulean City and Misty. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.